Have you ever considered brewing beer as a hobby? If so, I'd like to tell you my top 5 reasons as to why you totally should. What's going on, everybody? My name is Dylan, and today's video is geared towards all of you interested into getting into the homebrewing hobby. Now, we all know the general idea of brewing beer. If you're looking at this video, I would assume. If not, I'll give you the quickest rundown I can. You take grain, hops, water, you mix it all together over a process, which I can describe in a later video. You then add your yeast to have them ferment and do all the work so you can enjoy delicious beer at the end. Now, there's a lot that goes on between the beginning of buying your ingredients to then sipping on a pint of your first brewed batch of beer. But I'd like to just share with 5 reasons as to why you should make the plunge into homebrewing, because it is an amazing hobby, and let's just get right into it. Reason number 1, and probably the most enjoyable part of it, is enjoying the fruits of your labor. And what I mean by that is all the work and effort you put into purchasing equipment, purchasing ingredients, scheduling the day to brew, and brewing, the act of brewing, cleaning after the act of brewing, and all the time fermenting. You get to then finally enjoy a pint of beer that you created yourself. And one of my biggest, what I believe in the most with brewing, and what I tell everybody why I enjoy it so much personally, is that I feel it is the biggest, I feel it's the best blend of craftsmanship, so honing in and getting good at what you do. Artistry, that's where kind of the ingredient and recipe development play a role. And science. Without science, the brewing industry, we wouldn't have all the resources and knowledge as to getting from point A to point B in brewing and creating great beer. So enjoying fruits of your labor is probably the number 1 reason why you should get into homebrewing. Number 2, and reason number 2 in my eyes is the ability to be able to brew any style of beer that you could ever want. It's 2020 and we have supercomputers in our pockets, at least most of us do. You have the ability to go onto your phone or computer or laptop, and you could look up a recipe for anything from an English best bitter to a Belgian saison, or to a general guideline of making sour beer geared towards a certain flavor profile, to a hazy IPA. Absolutely anything, you can go on the internet and find it. So if you really enjoy an English bitter like me personally, and there's really none around me, even at local breweries, it's not a popular style, and I can't buy it off the shelf either. So that's a beer I like to brew at the house. That's another reason why I think homebrewing is such an awesome hobby. Reason number 3. Reason number 3 is general, but it's relationship building. And it seems like an odd reason to start homebrewing, and it might not pertain to everybody, and it might, maybe it does and maybe it doesn't. But what I mean by that is when you brew a batch of beer, generally the entry level is 5 gallons. Of course, you could do way less or way more, but you have a lot of beer, even for somebody who drinks a lot of beer. And if you brew frequently enough, you really can't keep up with consuming the amount that you produce. What do you do with the excess beer? You give it away to friends and family. You can go to homebrewing clubs. You can join in on a homebrewing club, even if it's not your thing. I highly, highly suggest doing it, depending if it fits your lifestyle. I know people are busy, and sometimes it's hard enough just to get a brew day in, but if you can, building that relationship with everybody else, being able to give somebody something you created that you're proud of and that you really hope the person receiving your product will enjoy, is really an indescribable feeling. Along with making relationships by giving beer, I made a lot of friends that I would have never met if I hadn't picked up homebrewing. And now when I picked up homebrewing, is that, one of my reasons why I started brewing? No, but you hang around people that share like interests, or at least they begin to be interested in what you do, And if you're an avid home brewer or very into the hobby, you like to talk about it. You like to say what the difference is between yeast types, or the subtle nuances you taste between certain malts, or the flavor and aromas you get off different hops. You surround yourself and engulf yourself into this brewing world, and inevitably, if you're a kind person and you like to hang around people that like to do what you like to do, you're gonna meet some people, you're gonna make some friends. I have friends, like I said, that I would have never met if it weren't for brewing, and I'm so grateful for that. Reason number 4 to get into home brewing is the ability to see clear progression. And progression benefits you because you get to consume that product. Going back to number 1, the fruits of your labor. The better you get as a brewer, as a home brewer, the better progress you make, the better the beer that you will be consuming, and others hopefully will be consuming as well. Brewing is pretty cut and dry, at least when you know you did better or you did worse. Now, brewing itself is not necessarily cut and dry, but like I said, if you brewed this recipe the first time and you brewed this recipe, the same recipe again, you have a very easy indicator, at least from memory's sake or actual sake, depending on how fast you brew, which is better. And hopefully you're getting better as you learn more and as you hone in on your equipment, as you learn more about the process, ingredients, fermentation, what have you. Progression is there, and I love that if you put in the work, if you put in the effort and you learn more about the hobby, you see those results, taste them. It's just great. When you progress in the hobby, it builds your confidence. It makes you feel good about yourself that you're able to produce such a great product from raw material under your ability as a brewer, your artistic take on a recipe, and the knowledge you have in applied science to something like brewing that has a multitude of working parts to create something good and great and enjoyable. Reason number 5, and one of the most important reasons I believe to pick up any hobby, is that it's fun. It's enjoyable. I look forward to doing it. Even though if you stick around the brewing long enough, you know that brewing is cleaning. You become a glorified janitor, really. I mean, the act of brewing takes anywhere from 5 to 8 hours, or maybe a little longer for your first time. And then the yeast really do all the work for us to get our product. I mean, we set the stage, but the yeast do all the work, and we cater to them. But it's fun. I mean, learning is fun. Before being technical can be fun. And what's so cool about this hobby is maybe you're not the geeky type to just nerd out on different protein and moisture contents of your grain. You don't have to, but you have the option. And does that mean if you don't geek out on certain parts of this hobby that you won't be successful? Not at all. If you want to get into this hobby cheaply, you can make great beer. You don't need expensive equipment, but you can scale it up to what extreme you want to. Those are my 5 reasons why you should take the plunge on starting to brew beer as a hobby. Home brewing is awesome. I hope this was a good video. Please like, share, subscribe. If there's a reason that you think should have been on my video, please leave that in the comment section below. I would really appreciate your feedback, and I think others watching would also like to hear what you have to say. Cheers, guys. I'll see you in the next video.